What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Mandy Moore, coming back to you with the brand new Sister to Sister 2.0. Today, we have some very special guests with us. I'm so excited to announce we have none other than Darin, Henson, Crystal, and Howard Gibson. How are you guys today?
Doing
Fabulous.
Thank you so much for being with us today. We do understand it's a pandemic, so we do appreciate your time. So you have a new series
being
out.
safe.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You guys have a new series coming out May 21st.
Yes.
Directed and produced by you two, Crystal and Howard. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we have a new exciting series that I don't think it's been done quite this way. It's called Double Cross. It will be premiering on the UMC network on May 21st. And essentially it's a story of a set of fraternal twins, brother and sister. We're not twins though. But they turn vigilantes. And they have their own way of saving girls from sex trafficking. So they what's the word I'm looking for?
They stop at nothing.
They stop at nothing. It's the undertone of they're cleaning the streets. It's the undertone of like a superhero type of movie, but yeah, they come together and they do some crazy things.
Detective Ryan is on the case.
Yeah, Henson plays Detective Ryan.
He's on the case, baby. He's on it.
Yeah.
Piecing it together. Nice.
So Darin, you play the detective on the show?
Yes, I played Detective Ryan, who's the elder detective, who's actually, as Howard said, is on the case. It's a very gritty show, and it's a show that has a lot of action involved in it, a lot of suspense in it. There's a thriller aspect, but I don't think that anybody has seen a television series done quite this way. Howard and Crystal are creatives that are very, very humble. As you know, being a veteran, so to speak, on TV at this point, I've done quite a few television shows and quite a few films. But this is the first time that I have been excited in this way about a series premiere, because it really is, I think, done in a way that invites the audience inside. I mean, it's an emotional roller coaster when you actually see that, and you can see it by way of the trailer itself. It's not the typical television series. I think it's the first of its kind that we're going to see done this way. So I'm really excited about the viewers watching it.
And from the moment the show starts, like you said, it is like very action-packed that I was watching like in the trailer. What are some of the challenges your character faces on the show?
Well, one of the challenges is he has a partner which is much younger than him, and I equate it to kind of like the young bull and the old bull theory that we heard years ago, right? Like the young bull wants to run down. I mean, the young person wants to run down and catch one bull, and the older bull is the older person is kind of like, no, let's walk down, let's creep down, let's work down and get them all. So I have that with Jasmine Burke's character. She wants to just kind of go, and I'm like, no, let's do this the right way. Let's be calculated and calm about how we approach the situations that we're dealing with, which is in the street. And these people are very, very smart. They're not sloppy people in how they do things. So it has to be, we have to be cognizant of how we go about trying or attempting to catch them in the midst of what's going on.
Well, we definitely can't wait to see that. And Crystal and Howard, how important was it for you to shed some light on human trafficking in itself?
Well, there are about 400,000 children that go missing every year. And we live in the DC area. And right now, this human trafficking situation is real. Yeah, and we're constantly hearing on the news that someone was snatched from the corner, or someone's snatched walking to school. And I thought, as I'm a conscious writer, and I thought, I'm going to shed some light on the situation, but spread some hope with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
As gritty as the series may be, it's still hope with it. So I'm, hoping people watch it and then they become more cognizant of their children. Where your children? You remember that commercial that was on in the 80s? Like, do you know where your child is right now? But we live in a different time. There's this whole shift happening in the world, and it's also a shift with storytelling as well. And to piggyback off of what Darin said, the way that we're telling the story, I think we took the storytelling shift and we were able to translate that to the screen.
Yeah, we're coming from a different narrative. We're coming from the vigilantes narrative. There's always a cop drama. There's always something going on in the world. But this is, the people who are affected in the community's voices. So this story is coming from that vantage point. Who are they? A lot of times when you see these missing children, something hits on the news, this missing children is doing this and doing that, and then it'll fade away. The question is, did you ever find that child? No, we didn't. It's a cold case. Man, those things happen in too much. And so it's like, how do you affect the neighborhood? How can we stop that if the government is too busy doing this and doing that? Or if there's enough media coverage, like we have a situation now, where happened 2 months ago, there wasn't enough media coverage, and that was an incredible injustice. Those things are happening to children.
And oddly enough, on CNN, as they're talking about the pandemic, there's been 3 emergency alert interruptions over, the past month or so of children being abducted in our area.
Yeah. So we want to
during a pandemic.
Absolutely. So we, again, that storytelling, Darin, is something that, we just saw. Like, let's go from a different approach. Let's not stay with the victim directly. We don't stay with the victim. We don't see it from her eyes. We've seen those before.
Right.
But now there's an operation. We need to expose that operation. We need to expose that ring. And there's people right next to you have no idea what's happening in the communities. And so we touched that a little bit, and I hope the audience, get it, get a hold of it and grab it. And we have incredible actors like Darin and sexy cast, man. I mean, I was excited. Darin knows. I said, listen, we were looking for
Howard handpicked Darin
for Detective Ryan, and I kept, we were casting everybody, and I said, we got Jasmine, and I said, if we have Jasmine Burke, I'm going to have to go with Darin Henson because he is the magic glue. When I tell you the first day he showed up and he spoke with that nice little grand rising voice,
Greetings,
I was like, yes, we got a veteran on team. And
I love you too, Howard. I really do. We don't, as an actor, producer, as a person in Hollywood, to go to work and love who you work with, to go to work and love the script, to go to work and really have a great time with your directors, right? Because both of these amazing creative individuals direct the show is just really a dream come true. So that doesn't happen all the time, where you want to go to work, you want to tell this story, and you can't wait for it to unfold. And the interesting thing about how it's written is there's a great deal of understanding that you have with the characters, but at the same time, because we're a society of copycats, we get it, but at the same time, you don't want people being influenced by these actions, because then society would run amok. So it's my job to find out what's going on, who did it, why they did it, and put them behind bars. And I think that's the emotional roller coaster that the show Double Cross is gonna take you on. And I think it's a double entendre as well, So again, I think this is going to be one of those shows that people are going to be talking about, and they're not going to be able to, you know, they're going to be so excited about the following week when the show, you know, airs again. I think this is going to be one of those shows that people are going to be talking about for years to come.
Kind of like a cliffhanger. So when you get
Well,
your
yeah,
script, Darin, talk us through the process of like bringing your character to life.
Well, you know, the way Crystal writes and how it directs and pieces it together, it really is this beautiful labyrinth that that takes time. You know, from clothing to voice activation, through the style of the way the character walks, the way he talks, the way he chews, the way he carries his gun, the way he sits in his car. All of it tells the story about who Detective Ryan is, where he comes from, and what makes up, you know, what we get to see on the screen. But it's in the writing, it's in the directing, and so it's a beautiful, colorful world that unfolds. And you know, one of the things that I can say, and you know, my directors that are sitting here with us can attest to this. It's really about walking on set, being a character, not allowing it to, you know, be made up in the moment, but really coming to work with the Detective Ryan cap on already. And I think that's what we all did. We all came to work ready to tell this story and help it unfold as the days and weeks and months went by.
Yes, I would agree.
I love that you said that, man. That you're hitting it on the point, Darin. I mean, all of us were very committed, very focused. Every crew member, every cast member, the locations that we chose were very careful. They were part of the characters as well. And we all dived in very carefully and methodically to move in a certain pace, a certain tone. One thing that you said, Darin, that sparked my, I'll also make this mention. We focus on these vigilantes, but there's a moment that we see beyond the cops. They have a personal story too. And we touch that. And it's like, these are humans too. We care about the cops as well. And there's some moments there, right? We won't talk about it, but there's some moments there.
That's right.
That is really powerful to me. I think it's in a few of those episodes where it just touched me because, sure, Crystal wrote it and I'm looking at it and I can see my vision. But man, when I'm telling Darin to do this,
you didn't know who to root for.
That's right.
The basis in writing is a bad person and there's a good person.
So Crystal,
cops are good and
what triggered the concept of?
Say it one more time.
What triggered the concept of the series?
The relationship with my brother. We're
it's
not twins. I'm 14 months older than him.
How long have you guys been working together?
But you know, but growing up, everybody thought we were twins, so we stopped correcting people. Like, yeah,
we've been gifted since we known what the word, they're our last name.
Right.
You know?
And so I took our relationship and put it on the screen. So you come for him, you coming for me.
They may not be twins, but they have wonder powers and they activate.
Everybody said on set because when we direct, like we know what the other person is thinking.
Yeah.
And we can tag team direct as well. Or I don't even know how we do it. Or our style on set with the actors, we may interact a little bit differently. But then if you look at the footage, it's the same. And it's hard to tell between how and now who shot what.
It's true. There were many times where it was many times we were shooting and Crystal was shooting and then she had to do something and Howard came in and took over and it literally, it didn't miss a beat. They're so tuned in and tapped in and turned on to each other. There was no beats that were missed. I mean, it was amazing to watch.
That's awesome.
And
do you guys always agree on everything?
No, we don't agree on everything. on in life, no, on set though.
My sister. On set.
On set, yeah.
Mostly.
I remember I was doing the scene with the actors, and it was like a little fight sequence, and I was like, all you got to do is have him stand up, move the coffee table out the way. And so I'm going back and forth with the camera guy, like, no, this is what we need to do. Howard's nowhere in the facility, right? And so I'm getting ready to put my foot down, and then Howard walks through the door, and Howard's like, what's the problem? And it's like, well, we got to do the fight sequence, and the table's here. Howard said, all you got to do is stand him up and move it out the way. Everybody in the room cracked up because we said the same exact thing. And he had no idea I said it, you know, in the same way. And they were like, those guys are twins.
Yeah.
They're twins. For
we
real.
have a certain twin power, and I think it translates into the screenwriting. It translates into the film. The love that we had as a community of behind the scene, in front of the scene. It's all love. I mean, it was all love.
It was all
Day.
family.
I want to see Darin. I want to see all my cast every
but
day.
Darin,
if Darin, you remember, if you weren't shooting, you showed up. I mean, like, all the cast members showed up on days off. I mean, they're like, man.
I'm sitting there and Darin comes in. I'm like, Darin, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, I can't do
this. It was so great. You know, the energy on set was so palpable. But I remember you guys were shooting something so intense that day. I stayed for about 15 minutes and I said, okay, have a great day. It was so intense. And I was like, yeah, I don't need to be here today because you guys were in the thick of it. You were in the middle of it. It was so palpable. And you didn't want to be in the middle of anything and to just be around where it would exacerbate something that you guys were putting together. So I remember leaving that day because I was like, no, these guys make magic. But I love your creative process so much that I wanted to actually come to set. And I don't do that. When I'm not working, I don't come to work. But with both of you, I literally showed up on set because I love watching you work. And I love watching the scenes unfold. And once again, you know, that attests to your creative work and how you flow.
Well, thank you so much.
It's our hope to connect to, you know, our cast and crews in a certain way, but also to the audiences, man. You know, everything that we do, we think about the audiences first and their reaction. And I always talk about it, like, how does the audience see this? So I'll always try to sit back on the couch and see, you know, how am I going to experience that? And so that's
how I write.
That's how she writes.
I write from the audience's point of view.
You know, and so we do it from the audience point of view, and we want to engage the base. We want to talk to people in a certain way. And again, everybody's human. There's no good cop, bad cop, man. It's just what it is, man. And everybody has their own individual story, and everybody has a story to tell. And so we found a way with her creative genius behind that to tell that story in an engaging way. So when you say cliffhangers, we got cliffhangers galore.
And you
out the gate.
You all took DC to Hollywood, which no other filmmaker has done. Why was it so important to bring DC to Hollywood?
Well, you know, our backstory, you know, we were very young in the filmmaking game. As PAs, we got people coffee and donuts. Yeah. And we had to work when, you know, films came in. And so we got older, then we went to Hollywood ourselves and we were back and forth. It was hard. It's very difficult being in DC and you want to be a filmmaker, but it's so much talent here and it's just not the opportunity. Yeah. And so we gave workshops this summer for script writing, and then we extended the invitation and we're like, you know, you guys want to come to Hollywood, you want to learn how to make a film on a real Hollywood set, come to LA, intern, and we're going to show you the game.
Yeah, and I'll even add to that. This has been a 28-year plan of action. So we've always planned to do films together and just use family and friends. That's how we were raised into it, and that's the kind of environment that I wanted to create. And I was in Atlanta for many years and decided to come back here just within the year in DC to come back home, kind of a homecoming. And Crystal and I got back together and said, we're going to do this together. And I said, well, we had to pick back up from 38 years ago, and we were able to cultivate about 30 Washingtonians, Marylanders, and Virginians.
We call it the DMV.
The DMV to come into early workshops that we kind of pull it together, makeshift everything together. We pulled together, all the tastemakers of the city, and we found the talent. We did a cast, the whole nine, and a lot of those cast members are lead actors in the shoot.
Wow.
I mean, 30 members from DC, Maryland, Virginia showed up to Los Angeles, most for the first time, in front of the camera and behind the scenes. And we just created a family, and people like with Darin, man, he was our spearhead. He was our spearhead leader, really.
Amazing.
He was amazing. I mean,
they walk on set, right? Some of them hadn't even been on a plane before.
Oh, wow.
And they come on set, and they're like, that's Darin Henson.
That's right. And he's so gracious. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's their first introduction to a Hollywood celebrity star. And what a blessing that Darin has the personality that he has.
Incredible. Big personality.
And they were able to sit back and watch him and his grace, his professionalism. When you yell action, Darin just went straight in the character. You yell cut, and he's somebody else. It's like you can turn it off and on.
Darin was my quasi acting coach. I was nervous. I had a little scene in there, and I was directing and acting. And he said, "Just do it this way. Remember this part, then say that part." He would give my keynotes. I'd be like, okay. But I'm doing it with you. I can't
like he's in a scene with Darin.
The first time I was like, I can't do this. No. But
Darin is amazing.
You got me through
Teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. And honestly, I want everybody to know, how humbled I am and how thankful I am to work with these really, in my opinion, two geniuses. I'm the lucky one here. And I truly, truly mean that. And I know that to be true. And so I'm happy to be a part of the Double Cross family, part of them Gibsons. And it's like, we were reminded every day how blessed we are, because when you come to work and you're so involved in the material, and so is everybody else, you've got something special you've got something special here. Even though we're interviewing with sister to sister, it's sister to brother here that has created, this beautiful body of work, and it's really powerful. So
I definitely
appreciate that, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Where can we find UNC? Like, how can do we download it?
Yeah, so UMC is a streaming app, sort of like Hulu, Netflix, or what have you. So you would go into the same platform and download it.
Yeah, go watch UMC. You can go to Watch UMC.
And watch UMC.
You can catch UMC off of Roku, Apple TV. It'll be on Amazon. It'll be on Pluto. So it's around everywhere. It's streaming.
It's $4.99 a month. You subscribe to it. And right now they're doing a 30-day.
We're gonna do a Double Cross special for everybody who wants to see it. So we're working with ANC UMC Network right now to arrange that so that we can get new audience in there to see this story.
Oh, and that's important to say. The AMC Network is the parent company of UMC Network.
Oh, okay.
So you should be seeing commercials right now for Double Cross running on AMC and WeTV. I've had people call and tell me they saw a commercial on there too.
Yep.
So yes, it's pretty exciting.
That's super exciting. So how is everyone releasing new films and staying in course during the pandemic and trying to adjust to the new normal?
We were hit. we were affected. This is actually a later release. So in the midst of our release, it was originally April 23rd. We were in the final stages of post-production, and the word got out that all of Hollywood, and I was in California.
Yeah, they shut down,
shut it down.
During our post-production.
It was amazing, and we had to shut down the post facility. Everybody broke apart, and I couldn't even, get to the network. The network had dispersed. Everybody was dispersed, and we were just really, we buckled down as my producing team. Crystal and I, we all buckled down and trying to do everything we could. And so that's in the midst of us hoping that the post-production was ready for it. Who was ready for the pandemic? Nobody.
No one.
we just kept pushing forward. Every single day we made sure that we hit certain marks, and unfortunately we did miss the mark. But right behind that, like a day later, we knew it was May 21st, and so we just kept going.
Yeah.
We were being positive about it, and now streaming is where it is. You know, we don't know exactly where the film industry is going to be.
And we're halted. Darin has you know, he works on family business. He was halted on BET. I have a movie with BET.
It's supposed to be shooting now.
That's right after Darin, and so that is kind of halted. So
yeah. And it's like a pause in everybody's life, like you guys said, like no one was expecting it. So for the people, the young actors, the young writers, the young directors that are kind of affected by this pause, like what's some advice that you can give them?
Stay creative.
Yeah, and you know what else though? There are workshops for actors, writers, filmmakers going on right now on Zoom. A lot of workshops. So I would just say do your due diligence. And you know, keep honing in on your craft. It's not to do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a time where we get to, if people are smart, you know, because the world has always been so busy or people have been grinding, this really is a key time to prepare yourself. So when it does open back up, those producers, those directors, those casting directors, you'll be much better prepared to meet and greet them. And because things are virtual, a lot of times you're putting yourself on tape anyway. Yeah. So it's a key time to study and to build yourself as an actor and to really figure out your emotions so you can best convey them in a movie, in a television series. These are the key component times. It's not what you're doing when you're on set. It's what you do before you get to set that's going to make the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a quick plug. I have a company called Level Studio. I'm actually creating the advanced technology workshop in the film industry. So we'll do just exactly what Darin said, to teach kids how to get into the business in today's market and be self-sufficient and bulletproof for the future. The lessons that are being taught right now, a bit of them, the new lessons anyway on social media, they're extremely relevant as to a tomorrow's kind of idea. Hollywood is shifting right now, and I don't think it's ever going to go back to old Hollywood. So we need to arm ourselves as creatives. Technology's out here. We have these digital cameras and all this other stuff that's happening right now. And so they just need to be exposed to it. So it's our goal to get the opportunity to diverse market, you know, and give them that equalizing playing field. And streaming is our answer. We don't have to wait on just Paramount or Universal anymore. There's UMC, there's BT Plus.
Yeah, and
there's so many out there. You know, TV One, it's another. You know, that everybody's trying to be more aggressive. Well,
and to just say this piece of it, our show's coming out May 21st, but every Thursday after that, the next episode will be released. So it's 6 episodes. So it's not like being a release in its entirety, like binge watching. So you will have to tune in every Thursday.
So how can fans stay in the loop of like what's coming next and what you guys are all doing online?
Our Instagram, mine is I am Crystal Gibson. Darin, you want to give yours?
My Instagram is I am Darin, Darrin, D Henson, Henson, and it has the blue check because there's a few copycats.
There's a few copies.
He's verified.
Mine has the blue check.
Yeah, and you can catch us at on our IG at Dim Gibson Films, and there we have a double cross at Double Cross on UMC. You can hashtag Double Cross Watch UMC and hashtag Dim Gibson. And
or just go to Watch UMC.
I'm personally a Howard's Journey. That's it.
Howard's Journey.
I'm on a journey.
So that's it. We hope everybody tunes in. And Darin, I miss you, Darin.
I miss you guys too. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Crystal, Howard, thank you. We really, really, really appreciate your time. And I hope you guys definitely stay safe during this new normal, like we said, that we're going through.
Mandy, stay safe to you as well.
Thank you
to Sister as well.
Thank you.
Sister, and Darin, Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, Miss Jane.